This right here is one of the most important things in the shop. CA glue. It's basically the reason 90% of my projects don't fall apart. But are you actually using it correctly? Well, let's find out. Welcome to Cut, Transform Glue. Let's start with the basics, gluing things down to a flat surface. Whether it's straight onto bare plastic or over a primed part, there are a few things you should know if you want it to actually stay put. The most important thing to do to guarantee a strong bond, especially on some weird types of plastic, is to give the surface some roughness. I like to use these sanding sticks for that. I make my own using wood, MDF or acrylic, but you can easily get by with some cheap nail files. If the surface is primed, I make sure to at least see some plastic, sanding in multiple directions. And wherever possible, I also like to sand the surface of the piece that's getting attached. Make sure to dust off the parts, add the CA glue, and I like to use a snap knife to hold the tiny pieces. Also, don't forget to give it a couple of taps with your fingers, for good luck. If you happen to add too much CA glue, don't worry, there's a highly advanced tag for that, Q-tips. Just go around removing the extra glue. And what I like to do next is to give it a quick buff with an abrasive sponge. Whenever I can, I also like to mark the surface, not only to limit where I'm going to sand in case I want to protect the surface that's nearly finished, but also to remind myself exactly where to apply the glue later. It might sound like a lot of work, but trust me, being that careful is what gives your model that super clean and precise look we all love. And let me tell you, when you carefully follow these steps, CA glue can be surprisingly strong. I guess that 3D printed piece is gone. Next up, baking soda. Now I know many of you already know the baking soda trick, but I've got one extra thing at the end of this bit that's super useful. Also, thumbs up if you liked my cute little Lego shovel. So you grabbed yourself a piece made of some weird plastic, gave it a light sanding to increase the surface area, and then glued it onto another piece. But you want to make that bond even stronger, and at the same time take care of that gap in between the pieces. Well, for that, baking soda is just perfect. Just make sure to go carefully around the gap you want to fill, trying to add just the right amount of glue. Then sprinkle a bit of it all around the seam, and you can go generous with it because you can always vacuum the excess. And then I like to just lightly buff the surface. These abrasive sponges are my latest discovery and I've been using them a lot. If you're careful enough with the glue application, you'll end up with a perfect seam. And trust me when I say, this gives the piece some extra body. Baking soda also works great for filling small holes or gaps, and the application is just a little different. I like to start by applying just a tiny amount of glue and use a toothpick to make sure it gets all the way down onto the gap. Then I add a tiny amount of baking soda and repeat the process, working in thin layers. As you can see, I'm not even adding more baking soda, just pushing around what's left on the piece. And the last touch is, of course, some light sanding, and just like that, the two holes are taken care of. But here's that extra thing I mentioned, a trick that I kinda forgot about for a couple of years, but one that's really going to help you. You just have to make a small puddle of CA glue and then add some secret powder to it, not baking soda. Then mix it with a toothpick, creating kind of a glue, and apply it to the hole or gap you want it to fill. Then, using a sharp tool, you can cut it pretty easily and follow up with some sanding. And the surface finish with this secret powder is just perfect. Now, of course, I'm just messing with you guys. There's nothing secret about this one, it's just baby powder or talcum. Yeah, surprisingly useful, and you'll be shocked by how versatile this one is. It takes like a good amount of time for it to set, which is not the case with baking soda. So yeah, go ahead and keep some baby powder around in your shop. Okay, but how do you precisely apply glue to a surface, since I already talked about how important that is to keep your models clean? Well, for that I have my Q-tip applicators. I'll show you how I make mine, and I'll also share some alternatives, since plastic Q-tips seem to have disappeared in some places. I like to start by preparing a fresh bottle of glue to fit the Q-tip nozzle. This process will vary depending on the products you have access to, both the glue and the Q-tips. In my case, I usually cut a bit off the original nozzle and then I drill it with a bit that matches the diameter of the Q-tips. Now, preparing the Q-tips is a tricky process, I'm not gonna lie. I won't even speed this part up, I'll show it in real time. And the real trick is, each brand uses a slightly different plastic, so the amount of heat you need to apply changes a lot. You just have to try it, fail, and try again until you finally get the hang of it. Next, I just put the nozzle in place, and then I use a small piece of masking tape to try to make it airtight and keep it secure. It's surprising how much control this simple Q-tip nozzle gives you over the gluing process. I really recommend you guys giving it a try. Don't get me wrong, it will be hard at the beginning, but once you understand the material, the amount of heat you need, and the force it takes to stretch it, you're golden. I use a lot of Q-tips in my building process, so I keep a steady nozzle production going with spares always ready to go. But I promised you guys some alternatives, and here they are. These are plastic lollipop straws easily found on AliExpress, and the only thing with these is that they need a lot more heat. You can tell how much tougher they are just by looking at my shaky hands right there. But it works the same. And I also had some success using water balloon fillers, which seem to be available on Amazon. Basically, any thin plastic tube could potentially work, you just have to test it. And that's pretty much it for this week's video. Please give it a thumbs up and leave a comment if you liked the content and found it useful. Check the description box for ways to support the channel, and a very special thank you to my patrons, whose support is crucial for keeping the lights on. And thank you for watching.